How could she stand there and claim she had never broken a promise to him after what she did? He slammed a fist into the thinly padded bench, adding more bruises to his already battered body. His Medibots would take care of the damage. That was their purpose. Microscopic nanotech whose job it was to keep him healthy enough to go on fighting, no matter what. Too bad they could only heal his body. When Lieksa had broken his heart, it had taken years to heal. Lieksa felt like her carefully constructed world had been shattered by a rogue comet strike. Her thoughts were tripping over each other, creating a bewildering tangle of questions she had no time to dwell on. She needed to stay focused. First, she had to repair Dash's implants. Later, she'd worry about fixing the shattered foundations of whatever the three of them had once briefly shared, if that was even possible. Dash lay on the bed in the middle of the room, unconscious and surrounded by machines that hummed and chirped as they monitored his status. His wavy blonde hair was stuck together in blood-stained clumps, and she could see the bruising that spread from the wound in his right shoulder. The injury itself was already healing. That was one of the challenges of working on the cyborgs. Their nanotech healed them so quickly that repairing them usually involved reopening their wounds. Any suggestions about creating Medibots that could be temporarily deactivated had always been denied by the ones in charge of the war effort. Their logic was always the same. Why create a weakness the enemy could exploit? She took in everything the doctor was saying as she reviewed Dash's file, including images of the injured areas. There was definite damage to his implants, but it wasn't anything she couldn't repair. Once she did a thorough examination, she could have parts created by the 3D printers back at her lab. Zale might not have her background in cybernetics, but he was a damned fine robotics engineer. She had to put aside her emotions and do the job at hand. Later, though. Later, she was going to have a very large drink while she processed the fact that Dash and Mack were both alive, here on the drift, and at least one of them was convinced she had betrayed their trust. Reveth, what happened to her simple, quiet life? She'd come to the drift to start over, to live small. Out here, no one cared about the past. Only the present mattered. It should have been the perfect place to get lost, but instead it had brought her back into the orbit of the two men she had sacrificed everything to protect. The doctor put a hand on Lieksa's arm. "Are you going to be okay to do these repairs? I don't know what the story is between the three of you, but it's obvious you have a history. As Dash's doctor, I need to know if you can do this. I won't put my patient in your care if you don't think you can. We'll find someone else." Lieksa locked down her roiling emotions and met the doctor's gaze. There was no judgment in the blonde woman's eyes, only concern for her patient. "There isn't anyone else on the station that can do it. If there were, they'd be here instead of me. I don't normally do this kind of work anymore, but as it happens, I installed some of the implants I suspect are damaged. I'm probably the best person in the galaxy for this job. You can trust me when I tell you I can do this. I'll save him. I have to." Dr. Jeffries nodded. "I needed to ask. I'm going to observe. I've been teaching myself everything I can about the cyborgs since I got here. I have several of them as patients. The more I know, the more I can help them. I'll be happy to explain everything I'm doing." Lieksa glanced toward the door. "Mack will want a full report afterward anyway. You can update him after I've done an initial exam and determined what needs to be done. If I need new parts, I'll have them made at the lab and brought over. It's been a few years since I've worked on a flesh and blood patient. I'd appreciate your help when it comes time to make the incisions." She looked at Dash again and felt a rush of sadness at seeing him this way. So quiet and still. He wasn't a quiet man. It wasn't in his makeup or his programming. He was designed to gather information, which meant he was gregarious, charming, and heartbreakingly handsome. She was determined to make sure he'd be all of those things again, soon. It wouldn't be enough to even begin to balance the scales, but it would be a good start.